always assume that it's Evan's computer.
That's right. It's my computer, and it's a good now, revolutionaries. Welcome to the Rise Up Morning, eventually, show.
Good morning, the Rise Up Morning Show.
We've got to edit that song to insert a little eventually in there when we are late, when Evan's computer rugs us.
Yeah, Keith, what can you do about that? Can you give me an eventually or something? That would be absolutely stellar. I don't know about you, Alex, but it certainly feels like we're in sort of a weird spot in the timeline. We've talked about this, you and I, ad nauseum. And I thought it might be a great opportunity just to do some inspiration for the cold open from our guy, my teacher here, Chris Dixon, in book form. What do you think about this, Alex?
That sounds good.
One of the things that he says is he uses this analogy of the casino and the computer, saying that cryptocurrency will be used for both of those things. That right now it's notorious as a casino, but that it can be the world's future computer. And here's what he says. The first thing is he uses one of my favorite quotes from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men and women to gather wood, divide the work, and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea. He says, in one version of the future, networks are owned by a handful of companies that stifle innovation while users and entrepreneurs compete for leftovers. The internet becomes another mass medium, broad and shallow. Users no better than serfs, toiling in the fields for the benefit of a corporate overlord. This is neither the internet I want nor the world I wish to live in. The issue goes beyond the future of the internet. The future of the internet is us, you and me. Increasingly, it's where we will live our lives, and it overlaps more and more with the so-called real world. Whom do you want in control of that world? So I will leave you with that question from Chris Dixon. That's from Read, Write, Own, Building the Next Era of the Internet. An absolutely essential book if you want to understand cryptocurrency, what it is, like practical, tactical, and why it might matter to you personally. And of course, that's why you're here on the Rise Up Morning Show, is because Alex and I, and sometimes when he's healthy, our good colleague Will is here to answer your questions about what blockchain is.
It's getting harder and harder to convince people that Will did not pass and he's not going to be replaced by some sort of animatronic.
To them, I would say he's right here. Fact check yourself, brother. So, hey, soundboard Will, good to see you. You
don't have enough to have a conversation with soundboard.
No, it would just be a lot of dolphin sounds, which, to be fair, somebody might believe was Will just being Will.
Awful.
But I'm not going to do that to you. Will is still in
The pit of despair.
but he has assured us he'll be back soon. He hopes tomorrow.
So, time out. I don't know what the next sentence in that passage that you were reading is, but it feels like it should be, you know, whom do you want in control or whatever? Whom do you want? What was the last thing you said?
That's right. The internet is increasingly becoming a bigger part of our digital lives and our so-called real world as well. Whom do you want to be in control of that internet?
Because I feel like the next sentence should be because you absolutely get to choose. And I think that's like my theme, especially over on Twitter right now, is just like trying to help, with what little movement my voice over there can do, to push people who have been complaining about the lack of real builders in favor of casino, all the while covering exclusively casino games and casino people, refusing to give any real coverage or attention to all of the things that they claim to wish the industry was populated by. So I'm hoping that this will help push, because it's getting worse out there. We're not like healing in a day here. The venture capital firm that Hayden Davis represents, Kelsier, is now being linked to other scams and frauds. Meteora is hiring a third-party investigative service. The CEO and founder of Meteora resigned. Jupiter is releasing statements. They're getting absolutely lambasted in comments. Basically all of like Solana leadership is just getting skewered. And one thing that does annoy me is that Mert, for example,
Of
like
the
has
Solana
definitely
or Helios Foundation. I always say Solana Foundation.
he's definitely like retweeted some casino related things. But I've also noticed Mert like at least once every day or every other day or so, just do a roundup post of like, for anyone who doesn't think that there's any real business on Solana, here are all these people. So he keeps highlighting them, and those tweets never really get the same kind of coverage or engagement that the shit posts get, and that's really sad. So part of it is creators, part of it is people like Tolly and Mert, if they want to kill that narrative, to put more of an emphasis on the things being built. And I know Raj has retweeted some stuff and said some things, and like the personalities that Solana ecosystem and community at large has chosen to elevate into thought leader positions are embarrassing for sure. And you could have elevated other people, but viewers have a responsibility too. And I keep saying that it's a two-way street. So making a choice, as biased as I am in favor of our own show and platform here, making a choice to like support people trying to talk about the cool stuff and decry the stupid shit that's a worthwhile choice. That's a worthy endeavor to undertake as a community member, as a learner, as a student at any level, as an expert, as a builder, as a user, as a lightly interested individual, however you happen to arrive at this industry, even if your goal is to prove that things are scams and whatever, go for it. Do it. Help root out more nonsense and garbage and shine a brighter light on the cockroaches and get them out of here.
So two things that I want to agree with there. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just absolutely wild to punctuate that soliloquy with a meme coin shill in the chat. Like, my brother in Christ, read the room.
I think this person is a new person who's sincerely asking about how to buy this token. I think this is a learning opportunity. I say that because I'm pretty sure I've seen that person in my comments before. So,
Okay, well,
not everything's about you, Alex.
Quick. I'm not saying it's about me. I'm just like, that's a wild thing to respond with.
But this person might not have context. I don't think
nothing to me says I didn't listen to anything or I'm not paying attention other than like meme.
Well, they might not know the difference. They really might.
They literally said the word meme in the question.
But what I mean to say is they might not know that that's what you're talking about. They might be new to you. I think they're new to me, so they might be new to you.
It really doesn't matter, because this is the point that I'm ultimately trying to make, that you really need to be taking away from all of this.
Well, it does matter if they have no context for it.
I'm giving you context.
Give me the context.
My added context is to highlight how silly it is to shill or ask about a meme specifically in a rant specifically about how we are now getting all of this extra exposure and light shine on the fact that the meme coin casino is not even a casino. Casinos are regulated to prevent people from getting actually completely hosed. And they're still profitable enough to where the house wins all the time, and you are extremely likely to just lose all of your money. But casinos still have to follow some rules. They can't like strap you to a table and take away all of your money and drain you, or make you bet more than you choose to put in, or like tell you like, hey, this is the ATM. If you just punch in your debit card code, you can withdraw some money and go play a game. Oh, just kidding. This is actually a wallet drainer and go fuck yourself. Like, casinos aren't allowed. There's not gangs in there with baseball bats just mugging everyone who walks in the door. And that's literally what the meme coin casino is. It's an extremely rigged cabal of like 30 people who are just fleecing all of you repeatedly. You're not playing a fair game. You don't have like a shot of going in there and maybe making $1 million. Like, you don't even have the snowball's chance in hell of doing that, because the thing, and this is what is coming out at this point.
That's right. That's a good point.
That it's not about like having fun and trading on tokenized attention and getting to play with memes and doing the things that like we were doing with meme coins, like a year ago. It's a completely different world over there right now. So my honest advice is, if it's gotten to the point where I literally can't tell you, go look up real utility and invest in that, because no one gives a shit. It's okay. Go play the meme coin casino. Don't do that either, because it's completely rigged against you. And if you want proof of how rigged it is, the CoffeeZilla interview with Hayden Davis is fantastic. I watched the entire thing. It's unbelievable. Hayden Davis confessed in this interview to enough crime to put him in prison for 30 years, including international fraud, embezzlement, money laundering. Like, unbelievable that he sat there and with a straight face said, not only is this okay, but like they would do it again. And then also with a straight face told everyone that no one's ever presented him with a better option. And Coffee's like, have you ever considered just like not launching a token? And he's like, what? No, obviously not. What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? Just not launch memes? And it's like, yeah, if you're launching it into a chasm of scams that you know is just going to fleece every retailer who accidentally gets involved, yes, correct, you fucking dimwit. The answer is to not do that. And then, like, punctuated, Adam22, who's an adult film star, launched his own meme last night in the wake of all this after Coffee reached out and was like, hey, dude, don't. Why would you do that? And the DMs that got leaked from Adam22 to CoffeeZilla, incredible. The dude straight up admitted, I have no clue who's building or creating this thing. They just reached out and offered to pay me, so I'm going to push it. I don't know how this works. I don't care about any of my fans getting hurt because I'm pretty sure none of them know how crypto works, so I don't think any of them are going to buy it. I don't care about any of the fallout or ramifications. Like, these are word for word quotes. So you can go, it's all documented. Jail. These people are just like casually on social media with their faces confessing to large scale financial crimes. And we keep retweeting them. Who's to blame ultimately for the state of the industry? Can you exclusively blame scammers and grifters? Or do you also have to look at KOLs and audience members who constantly seek these people out and just hope and pray that they're going to catch a win on the next one? Meanwhile, the SEC is suing Uniswap, and I've not seen a single indication from any regulatory body claiming to be out here to protect the investors that they're going after any of this shit. You've got people resigning, you've got people confessing to international crimes, you've got governments involved in fleecing retailers, primarily in this country, and the SEC is completely silent on the Libra thing. Meanwhile, you've got Dave Portnoy, that piece of shit, out here screaming on live streams at how pathetic and sad anyone who loses money in meme coins are because you played the casino and you lost. Meanwhile, he loses $5 million in Libra, and the Libra team, Hayden, refunded him all $5 million of his lost dollars. And then he immediately went on to post another live stream where he accidentally admitted that he got paid back and then continued to make fun of people for losing money in meme coins, including pumping a fake Libra that he bought on accident.
Yeah.
And yet there are people out there with a straight face that'll say Dave Portnoy is just having fun and experimenting. No, he's a grifting piece of shit. He's an entitled, rich asshole who has the game rigged in his favor. He can risk millions of dollars to make millions of dollars on these things because when he screws up, the scammers just give him his money back. How are you going to tell me that, okay, let's just find another better meme to bet on? Stop buying fucking meme coins. It's broken right now. Go do anything else. Literally take your money and donate it to a nonprofit in your area. Donate it to the Red Cross, donate it to a dog shelter, donate it to a food bank. Like, just fucking quit. You're just going to lose anyway. So you might as well do something good with it instead of continuing to pay people like Frank, D-Gods guy. Go look at the shit he's been tweeting lately. I don't even have to like try to interpret what these people are saying. The meme coin casino is fucking broken. It was a cute idea and we memed too close to the sun, and it's time to walk it back. So, sorry, Icarus, you're literally on fire and you're like struggling to get back into the blowtorch. Just go fucking do literally anything else.
So for the people who don't know what else to do, here's the thing. You have to understand that most cryptocurrency tokens are designed to make you feel like you're early. Meme coins included. But the reality is that for most cryptocurrency tokens, you are by de facto late. These are venture style investments. Most of them are pre-product, and most of them a product or service never comes to fruition. This is the first time, literally the first time in history, that you have been able to speculate on a market in this manner, the same way that a venture capitalist or angel investor does. And so that's who you're playing against. That's who you have to outcompete. So the strategy either becomes launch a meme token and prey on people who don't know the difference. That's step one. You could do that. You could try to invest in these meme tokens for the hopes that you catch one out of every three, one of two out of every three that's not a rug pull.
That's the other exposure piece that's out with all this is people like Hayden admitting full front. They did this with Trump. They did it with Melania. They did it with Libra. They're going to do
coordinated
it with
thing.
Every other thing that they do. They launch it. They snipe their own supply. Quote, it's okay. We're just trying to prevent the other snipers from sniping it. So we snipe it so that we can dump on liquidity. But he's literally sitting there with $100 million in a wallet. And when asked whose money it is, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's going to do with it. And he claims he's using it as leverage over the president of a foreign country. With a straight face, he said that on camera with his name attached to it.
Did you see the max extractive value text?
Yeah, yes, all of it, man. Like you can't play the meme coin casino and maybe win. You can't. It is being built and designed by people who are intending exclusively to steal from you. This is not random guy launches funny meme. It goes kind of viral. Some people make money. Some people lose money. They time it wrong, whatever. It runs for a couple weeks and dies. It launches. It screams up for 6 hours. Then the people who built it, who also launched it, pull $50 million out, nuke the chart, and it's over.
And some people who got lucky. But the odds of getting lucky like that,
people.
That's exactly right. But people need to know that. People need to know that by the numbers, the odds that you will get lucky with your little sniper bot and your lack of inside information because you happen to see a TikTok or you happen to catch a token from a creator you trust or saw somebody online that said it was a good opportunity. You just need to know that, like, realistically speaking, you have a better chance of, starting a new job today and making $100 than you do of making $100 ever on a meme coin, of donating to your charity and seeing a return into your community.
You want to talk about money? You have a better chance of going out into your community and doing something kind for somebody and having one of those YouTubers who does performative philanthropy spotting you and then giving you some money for being kind. You have a better chance of making money that way than you do of winning at this game. I think
Mike
Evan,
says,
honestly, that's why it's like it's almost even not worth it to say you do have a small chance.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be I agree with you, but I want to be honest with people. I want people to know they can trust me more than I want them to do a particular. I don't really, at the end of the day, what I want is to keep people safe. And I feel like the best way to keep people safe is for them to know they can trust me. And so I owe it to them to help them understand my ethos, my credibility. Mike says here, answering a detractor is the best way to do that. Mike says here about you can be terminally online. You can be early. You can make a 2 to 3x and get out, but it's hard. The equivalent is like you can be somebody who's a casual smoker. I have a problem. I smoke cigarettes. And the real problem comes when you think to yourself, it's not a problem. Okay. I have a problem. I can't just stop anytime I want. I could go to the wilderness and not have access to cigarettes and be totally fine. But the trick becomes when I think that with a gas station on every corner, with $10 in my pocket, pretty much anytime, pretty much all my life, I can just buy a pack of cigarettes and smoke them when I want to. That is the folly of the meme coin trader. That there are thousands of tokens, sometimes tens of thousands launching every single day, that most of them, I just saw this, a statistic about meme coins on Solana. The average meme coin, so many are launched every day that the average meme coin is an hour and 30 minutes old. 95% of them, they don't last more than an hour. 95% of them don't ever get past $100,000 in market cap. 95% of them are not going to make it. There are people in the world who can
95
puff
is
on a cigarette and put
generous.
it out and never think about it again. Everybody else whose lips that thing touches is going to get wrecked one way or another.
Mhm.
By the numbers. You're right. We could choose not to talk about it, but I want people to know, like, that's you.
And I
Can
don't
you
even
beat it?
mean-
Absolutely you can. But if you can, you are the exception. And my friend, if you are watching this because you're trying to learn about crypto, hoping to catch the next 100x, you're not the exception. We work here. We're here every single day. And most of the people we work with are also not the exception. You know what I mean? Like it's not we're not that guy. You're not that guy.
I think I don't want it to come across as me suggesting that you can't like say the phrase "it's possible to make money on a meme." Like, I personally know people that do it who are not in some sort of weird vape frat bro cabal plotting to scam people. They just serial buy these things. They lose more times than they win, but eventually it's like it's the reason that like people at the casino holding up their winnings are like sad. It's like it cost them $250,000 to win this 10 grand.
Sure. And they drank and smoked a lot while they did it. No
Yeah.
shade to casinos.
I just
love them.
context is important. So like, to say you have a chance at this, you do have a chance of winning at the meme coin casino in the same way that you have a chance of winning the Mega Millions jackpot. And what I mean by that is you can't like buy lottery tickets with the expectation of a return on your investment. You have to walk into these things with the complete comfortability and understanding that you are going to lose every penny you put in. That's the only way for you to stomach this, because that will prevent you from, top blasting 20 grand into something because you're like, this time I'm finally early. And by that, I mean unloading as much money as you have available to you when a chart is screaming upwards. And as Evan just said, the meme is 10 minutes old. There was an interesting question, Evan, about old memes.
Uh-huh.
Like,
oh yeah. Okay.
Like Pepe and Shib and Floki and these things that have been around for a few years that, we know are like out there and launched, that have done the meme thing, that don't have someone holding their finger on the trigger with all of the liquidity, at the end of the
You're good. Yeah.
So, and I've been thinking too, like, there's a desire on crypto Twitter right now to like get back to the roots, get back to like innocent times. It's like, why can't we just crack a beer and buy NFTs again, or something like that? And it kind of makes me think that nostalgia might be a thing. Like, people might just be like, instead of over leveraging on whatever brand new meme some celebrity decides now is a great time to drop. If I want meme exposure, I'm gonna get some Pepe, and then I'm gonna get back to just like stacking stable coins and waiting for the market to figure itself out. Or
your friend Bare Naked Crypto had a really interesting observation I happened to see on Twitter the other day, where he said,
don't call him my friend, please.
Oh, come on, man. He's your pal. He your friend of me. He said that there are mature memes and those are for swing trading. Or something like that. I'm paraphrasing him. If he comes through, tell him not to at me. Every new meme, the question is it going to last? And the answer is usually no.
Right.
And the mature memes, he said, that have proven themselves, that are culturally relevant enough that you could expect them to be here tomorrow, like Doge or Pepe, or now probably Trump, at least for the next 4 years, are going to have, because they stay here, people who buy in. Or
the Trump one is a bad one to put in that context, because we know the same people that built these rigged
I don't
ones
think so.
built. Yes.
That's like saying
God.
Solana is a VC token. At one time it was. And Trump is going to be released to the team again and again and again, but eventually they're going to sell it. And unless Donald Trump dies or fades into obscurity, he is the most relevant meme on the planet Earth.
Brother.
He is the most relevant meme on the planet
Evan.
Earth. What goes into a market cap of a meme?
Evan, you might be right in 5 years. You're not right now. This thing is like an hour old, and it's so overwhelmingly owned by people who can't wait to siphon more money out of it.
That's right. And in 36 months, it'll be totally free and clear in terms of all the supply will be unlocked.
In 36 months.
I'm talking to you now when the meme of Donald Trump is the biggest meme on the entire planet Earth.
I fundamentally disagree with you.
I'm telling you, man, it's the biggest meme. with these mature memes, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying about
Listen,
about it.
God damn it, Evan. No, I think
What?
we accidentally agree again. I'm not saying no, son of a bitch. I thought we were so close to being actually really on opposite sides of something. Time out. For all of you watching, Evan and I are in a desperate quest to find something that
we disagree about.
really truly disagree on that we could argue about. And I thought we had it, but wait a second.
We did for a second.
Because I'm not saying that the Trump meme is not culturally relevant and that he's not the most polarizing figure and that he's not the biggest attention magnet and that like his meme will not have eyes on it for a long period. I'm saying that it was built and launched by a rigged machine perpetrated by criminals designed to steal from you. So if you're buying it now, you are just paying them their salary.
Totally. Yeah, and for anybody, just the math behind it is like over the next 3 months starting in March, only 20% of the supply is on the market. The thing about meme coins is that they're supposed to be 100% fair launched, meaning that in theory, everybody buys them at the same time. What happens in practice with memes is usually that the insiders will buy them early. They just will, and they'll buy a lot of them early. That's what happens all the time. So the Trump token, the inverse has happened. They have said, well, 20% here it is, believe me, and 80% is like going to be unlocked over time. And you can audit the contract. It's true. Tremendous. Absolutely. So it's like an inverse of the same thing. But in 36 months, hypothetically, those people will have received their token. They'll definitely have received their tokens, but hypothetically, they'll have sold because that's the incentive. And then it'll be a market open token. My point is, as your point is, that it's a big meme, going back to the big memes. Those are memes that you can trade. The way to win a token like Doge, and you can win a token like Doge or like Pepe or like Bonk or you name it, a big.
Right. But fundamentally different things.
Fundamentally different. Absolutely fundamentally different. It almost certainly is not going to do 100x. Pepe, I hate to tell you, is not going to go to a penny. It would have to be tremendously huge for that. Like it would have to be bigger than the whole crypto market for that to happen.
But the odds of like everyone being really angry at the current state of the casino and still refusing to extricate themselves from casino land might decide to flock back to something like Pepe, giving it a 25% day, which would be big.
Yeah, and then it'll almost certainly correct itself, but not go totally away. So, when people stop talking about Doge and it goes down to 10 cents, that's probably a good time if you want to buy a lottery ticket to buy some Doge. And then eventually Elon is going to do something. He's going to put the Doge face on a rocket or I don't know. Who knows? And then it's going to go up to 50 cents and you'll have done a 5X. And then you sell it because it's not going up to $1 or $10 or $100. That's not how it works. It's going back down to 10. And then when people pay attention to it again, it'll go up again. And it might, get tighter or broader over time. But that's the way those established meme tokens tend to work. That's a great way to play the casino with less risk.
That's kind of one of those then another big way that you would draw a difference between these two things would be with the idea of putting an icon like a human, a fallible person at the helm of one of these things, and forcing the success of that token to be completely beholden to their attention span and their energy. Because
you're taking me back to Web 2 here?
No, I'm talking about like influencer, celebrity, whatever. Like the difference between having something like Floki, that could be fair launched. And for the record, that was another one of those things I wrote about yesterday on Twitter. Just like, the guy Hayden was just like, I know, for real. I'm very sorry. I thought we had it there, guys. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
No, but him saying like, hey, and this one I'll also call bullshit. And another point to like lose respect for people like Frank, for people like Hayden, for people like all of these assholes that are dealing with this, vape cabal. These guys are like, I'm just waiting for someone to tell me the fair way to do it, and I'll do it that way, and we'll prevent people from getting wrecked. You know what? It really pisses me off because it's really easy, and I guarantee tons of people have given them viable options. Like, you want to launch a meme, here's a couple ways that you could do it that would prevent all of this from happening, that would prevent supply from being sniped at launch and liquidity from being manipulated and extracted and everyone from getting dunked on. I'm not even an engineer, and I could come up with 2 or 3 models right now off the top of my head with no forethought, besides the amount of obsessive time I spend thinking about this for the last how many years, that would do that. I mean, Doge is one example. How did that get launched? Does anyone remember? It was mined.
It's a fork of Bitcoin.
A fork of Bitcoin, and you could just mine it on your computer. That was how it was introduced to the world. So if you wanted to sit there and mine it and do whatever you wanted with it, there you go. Guess which token couldn't have been sniped? You could have bought a bunch of miners and started like over mining the supply, but like, oh my God, right? The difference between, computer program sniping something like that is insane. Keep going, right? Like you could pick a metric of something that you would like to, use as the community for anything. There is so much on-chain data for you to use, and just airdrop 100% of the supply of something out to a group of wallets for whatever reason. There you go.
So
now it's
real quick definition. Meme. What is a
Yes.
meme coin? Because somebody asked, is Doge a meme coin? A meme is a token, I would say, correct me here, fact check myself, brother, whose value is mostly tied to the significance it has in culture. It is not so much a token like Bitcoin that has a global network of people who will use Bitcoin tokens to settle payments or communicate about value. It is purely related to how relevant is this meme as a unit of culture. For example, when Chris Rock got slapped at the Oscars by Will Smith, or when the Challenger rocket blew up, or something, name a momentary cultural event that's big and everybody pays attention to right now. If you had launched a token for that meme when it happened, almost certainly it would go up in price. During the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs tokens were going up and down because there were meme tokens for that. And man, as the Super Bowl went on, the Chiefs token just went like this. People use meme tokens to speculate on the value of a meme. The more instantly hot a meme is, like Hawk Tua, that girl, it was everywhere overnight, or Mudang, kind of the quicker in value the market cap tends to reflect, a rise. Something like Doge or Pepe, which is just a meme you can find anywhere on the internet. It's more of a cultural mainstay. And then there are meme tokens like Bonk that have products too. They have a great trading bot that generates millions of dollars of revenue, but they're not necessarily like Bitcoin because they have that. But what that kind of thing does is it sort of establishes a floor. Like, because they're a revenue producing company, the floor of their meme token will probably not go below a certain price, but it probably won't go way up unless the meme of Bonk becomes particularly culturally relevant again. So those are meme coins.
Right.
Tokens whose price is tied to their relevancy in culture.
That was another thing that came out in that Hayden interview, that he said, again with a straight face. He couldn't. This was the impetus for my first tweet about the whole thing, which was my number one takeaway of that interview, was that these insiders, the people rigging this casino against everyone to just steal, they actually fundamentally do not understand really anything else about the space. Like they exclusively know the mechanic and the contraption to launch a scam and to steal from people, but they actually don't really know anything else about anything else in the industry. Like, I'm pretty sure if you sat down, people like, and this was the weird part, people like Hayden, people like all of these meme shillers, whatever, and ask them, like to describe the basics of the industry, the basic technology, the basic idea of how a blockchain works, or what consensus is, or different consensus models, or whatever, something technical. They couldn't do it. And because he said something that just like really hit me. He was like, Coffee was describing to him the problem with this, that the difference between all of this, because he was basically like, you're just extracting value from people when you launch a meme like this. And Hayden's response was, every crypto is just doing that. Not a single one has ever been launched that actually did anything. And Coffee's like, well, there are tokens with utility that you can purchase to do things with and use them to do a product or a service or something like that. And you have other reasons to buy things. Exactly for the record, he's spot on. He's so spot on with the way that he looks at the industry. And Hayden's response was like, utility is a meme. That doesn't mean anything. There's no such thing as utility. Basically, like, it's all garbage. It's all nonsense. Which the only point that you could extract from that is that sometimes people lie about utility. They make shit up, or the utility doesn't matter, or it's solving a problem that doesn't exist. All these sorts of things can also be problems that are present. But remember, two things can be true at once. So then Coffee replies, okay, so why are you doing any of this? If that's the case, then you're truly just extracting people, and you have to be aware that there's like no light at the end of the tunnel. And Hayden's honest answer, within seconds of him saying that all utility is nonsense and none of it matters, is that his goal with a meme, especially the Libra one, was to walk it to utility and to introduce utility to it. And it's just like, oh, so you're like
It's like safe move.
completely mentally incompetent. You got absolutely nothing kicking around up there. It's just like fucking Monster and peach smoke. And it's just like unbelievable the amount of delusion to say those two sentences literally back to back. And this wasn't even like he said one thing at the beginning of the interview and an hour later he said something else. It was like one breath, two breath. Utility's all a scam. My utility is going to be real. Unbelievable, dude.
And the other thing is, you know, Mike said, what do you think about what he said about TradFi? Do you agree with him that TradFi is a scam? And I think it's clear that both of us agree, yeah, TradFi is a scam. But the solution to that scam is not to redo the TradFi system with a new tool by putting yourself at the center and saying, trust me, bro. Like that's not the way to do it. And without any of this, at least TradFi has a couple of safeguards that, you know, sure, it's a dinosaur system that make it easier for everyday people to understand it and use it. You know,
TradFi is broken in a scam in the sense that so much of it is hidden behind closed doors. So when you go into crypto, the whole point, like the thing that brought, I think a lot of us in here years ago, like in closer to the beginning of the industry.
Yeah, for people who are just coming in now, especially, good lesson.
Was the idea that like, let's get away from this. Let's get away from this, you know.
It's a problem that we have to trust banks with our money, and they make all this money on it, and we don't get shit. Pardon my French.
Yeah, it's a problem that we have to have all of these middle people in every layer, and it's not just like one go between. It's like 30, and all of them take a cut. And who gets fleeced at the end of the day is always the consumer, because they're in an industry of necessity. I use this term a lot to like point out like who is incentivized to lie to you and steal from you the most, who stands to profit the most from your desperation. It's people who deal in industries of necessity: medicine, food, shelter, clothing, access to your money, things like this, things that you do not have the option. So like food might be getting really expensive, and guess what? No one gives a shit because we don't have a choice other than to buy the food. So they know you're going to keep going and buying the food. If cars got outrageously expensive, somewhat necessity, right? Like plenty of people have to have a car, but you've got other options. You know, things like, I don't know, luxury goods and whatever. Like all these other things.
Yachts are expensive on purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's the point.
Right. But like overly inflating the cost of all this other stuff usually is just meant to put more middle people into more industries to fleece more people out of more of their money. Right. And finance is one of the worst offenders, because it really, truly should not cost that much money to do things with your money, your own money. And that's kind of the point. So if we walk into crypto and just start implanting more and more crypto-based middlemen into all sorts of things, we're really just tokenizing traditional finance, and we're still building extractive models. And yes, it's open source, and yes, some people can point out that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, we're finding that largely people don't really care that much about decentralization. And it's not really so much of a sticking point. It's not like one of the main things that people analyze when looking at a new project. Not to say you're not correct about that. You don't have to care about it. It's just, you know, that's not really, it's not really the point.
Well, and here's the thing too, is about, you know, like TradFi versus, we've said this ad nauseum today, so I'll be brief about it. Because people, even the people running it, largely don't understand what it can be used for, they're willing to accept any definition from somebody who speaks with enough confidence and looks rich enough to earn their momentary credibility until proven otherwise. So a lot of this stuff, somebody asked in the comments about Cubetics. This is a project, Alex, I don't know if you've heard about it. They've got a 25-phase pre-sale. And do you know what they're selling? A token. Wow. A lot of these projects are some team may or may not have a visionary idea. Usually it's in a hot trending niche. And And to be clear, like blockchain is going to solve a lot of problems. All those TradFi systems, those systems of necessity that are arbitrated by intermediaries who make themselves fat at your expense, blockchain has the ability to help us streamline all those systems and distribute power from the center of them to the edges, to the users, to be truly democratic. Understanding what it can do and what its limits are is essential because that will help you weed out promising projects from crap. So a lot of people will take advantage of the fact that you don't know that you don't know anything about blockchain, that you're totally new to this industry and just trying to make some quick money. And they will fund an idea that sounds trendy and popular. Some AI agent, some decentralized physical infrastructure, maybe something that blockchain will enhance one day, but you really don't know the difference. And they will pay some founder with a really nerdy name or a degree from Yale enough money to keep him working on a project, a white paper, enough money to spin up an incredible website, enough money to hire a marketing department. You know, some venture capitalists will say, here's $5 million. Now I own 20% of your company. And all of a sudden their company is worth $25 million. And it makes sense to you because they're going to build some futuristic supercomputer AI project. I don't really understand it, but just read the white paper. Do your own research. Do your own research, man. Have fun staying poor. The pre-sale's happening. Are you registered yet? But the pre-sale is not for a product that's going to change the world. The pre-sale is for a token that you will buy because you're early, man. Aren't you lucky? And that's what's going to make the people who paid $5 million to own 20% of the company $15 million. And once they get their money, and once the founders get their money, I mean, they're going to say to you, listen, you know, $15 million really isn't enough for us to dethrone Pfizer. $15 million really isn't enough for us to compete with XAI to build a new model for a decentralized computer. It was really good. We'll see you next time. And they'll take an advising position at some crypto company, or they'll found another crypto company or something like that. And you will be stuck with this token that does nothing, that nobody wants to buy from you because the company's gone.
Yep.
I don't know, Alex, 90%, 95%. That's what it is. It's meme coins that are actively trying to steal from you. And it's tokens designed to seem like they have utility because you don't know the difference. So the best thing you can do to protect yourself is to learn the history of our space and to understand the opportunities that blockchain meets and the problems that limit its ability to solve them, because that will help you spot the good stuff from the crap. So I got scammed is the question. Well, not necessarily scammed, but if I were you, if you bought into a pre-sale and you're just holding on to tokens, most of the time you're going to lose money. Pi Network is that way. They're going to mainnet soon, so let's see what happens. I'm expecting everybody will sell when they can. Absolutely. Cubetics, I don't know, pretty much every meme pre-sale. The only pre-sale I can think of that was not a scam was Ethereum. And honestly, I'm sure there are more, but it's an exception thing, not the rule. You're not early, you're late. And the way to look for that is just to do a search and see, does the product actually exist? And Alex, you got to give me your bullet points on this. Does the project actually exist? Did they receive venture capital? And is the only thing they're selling me a token? And if the answer is yes, skip it. You're not early, you're late. You are designed to feel early, but you're late. What would you add to it? Because I know you got your, is the research guide available now? The second, the one that you wrote about? I
think so. Which one?
The one you just wrote where you remember, because we were talking about edits and you were like, guys, I just wrote this one. Is it good to go? And I was like, well, how are people going to know the difference between that one? I don't know the name of it.
It's mostly ready. I gotta double check it and then post it. That one will be free.
Well, you can download a free guide right now that Alex authored called How to Do Your Own Crypto Research. It's great. He's like the Geppetto of puppets of crypto research guides, and he's even got like the, European look to him. So be on the lookout for that because it's really helpful. But you can get the free guide right now. It's at theriseupmorningshow.com. Let me throw my link up on the screen.
Yeah, there's a couple basic ones. There's like, the bullet point overview, and then there's like some more in-depth, detailed, like into the weeds kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's a good time to say we've gotten a lot of new followers today and a lot of new guests. We're so glad you're here. This is a wonderful place to learn about what crypto is, why it might matter, and to connect with other learners at all levels of experience just like you, because that's the best way to learn about crypto. To save time and money learning about crypto, you got to get in a room of other people who are not really like trying to sell you something. And make no mistake, we got stuff we can sell you, but like you don't have to pay a dime to come hang out.
That's really the point. Like,
yeah,
you know, don't pay for anything. First of all, don't pay for anything that you don't understand or you can't articulate like why you need. And if you just want to support us, that's great. But, you know, just make sure you're making that specific decision. Evan and I feel pretty strongly about like, one, the fact that we do really want to make a living from doing all of this, and that would be really cool. So that's great. You know, there's like stuff to sell, but also if what you're doing is being brand new and you have like a couple questions and you really want to figure some stuff out by yourself, you don't need to pay for any of that. So like that's the part where I would say don't subscribe for anything, don't buy anything. I've got free guides that you can take and go off into the world and try. And if you get stuck, then come back. You know, and or ask questions. And there's tons of questions that
well, and I would direct you to the Discord. A lot of people come into my comments and say, how do I get one-on-one time with you? How do I help? But mostly the questions they have are questions that have been asked before that can be answered in a post already written in our Discord server. It's totally free. Discord.gg/riseup. And the other trick is, if you go to our website, you'll see a little pop-up that's like, hey, become a member. That's a paid thing. It's affordable. But the catch is you get a week free trial. And I would tell everybody, sign up for the free trial, write yourself a little note so you don't pay $10 later. And then go check out the different kind of discounted things you get. You can get discounts on every course, recording, coaching session, all the digital products we got. You can just raid the shop and then get out of Dodge. And I will not be sad if, you know, you paid Alex and I for a coffee instead of a Subway sandwich and you learned something and you're going to help someone and tell everybody that you learned it with us. Like that to me and to Alex and to Will is like, that's the sauce. You know, we want you to keep coming back. So that's the commercial. Check out the Discord.
So
Alex, I know you got 2 or 3 questions, but can I ask you, do you have time? I know you said you maybe have to go early. I'd like to talk about NFTs before we go.
Yeah, no, I definitely want
take it where you want to go.
We're good. I'll jump if I have to, but as of right now, we're fine. There was a couple points that came up that I think are just important, and we don't want to belabor this or beat it into the ground. I think we gave it plenty of coverage, and we can do it again on a future episode. But Mike was talking about one of the points, I think, kind of in that same camp, TradFi versus the scams of memes, and like, what's the difference between someone like Hayden and someone like Nancy Pelosi? And I'm going to say Pelosi as the catch-all, the most notorious, but to represent all of the government officials and Congress people that engage in insider trading all the time. I think they are both bad, and I think they are different kinds of. They're different, but both bad. So I don't want this to sound like I'm trying to like give any credit to insider trading Congress people, because I think that every one of them who insider trades should just be fired.
I will absolutely die on this hill.
And what you want to talk about broken systems? Who's responsible for making it so they can't insider trade anymore? Them? Yeah, it sounds fair.
Yeah.
Oh, they also get to vote on whether to give themselves a pay raise. Seems fair.
And that's just bullshit.
But it's different in that like Congress people have built this system over a long time, and they're like the fact that they're not doing anything illegal is the problem.
Sorry, what?
The fact that it's not illegal.
That
they are allowed to buy stocks and
sell
stocks and invest in the stock market and do all these things at the same time that they're tasked with like passing regulation that does it. They're like the fact that they are doing all of that bad shit and it's not crime is wild.
Yeah.
What Hayden has done and what other people like Hayden have done is different in that they are just straight up committing crime, lying, and doing what Congress is like. Not even lying. It's public information. Anybody can look up Congress people's stock trades and their portfolios and whatever. And there's a few like issues and stuff I've seen like where some things have been noticed that weren't properly reported. But those all get investigated by Congress. So I just think the nuance is important to recognize like different levels of bad and like what needs to be done to fix these different problems. Because the way that you tackle Congress insider trading is very different than the way that you would tackle someone like Hayden being allowed to literally still not be in prison and go launch another token if he wants to. And I would agree with you, Mike. That is just another unmitigated catastrophic failure of the SEC.
Daniel Macker says, so rug pulling is illegal?
Don't come for me. Well, no, and you know what's wild is that sometimes it's not. And that's another problem. Like what's interesting, there are different crimes that go into when someone pulls the rug on something, but like if you were to launch a meme on Pump Fun and do the thing, help it get pumped up, it gets shilled, it goes whatever, it does the thing, it goes up, it bonds, it gets out to Raydium, lots of people buy in. You or somebody else owns a shitload of it from early on, and you decide to sell it and walk away. You technically have not committed a crime. In that, other things would need to have been present before what you did in selling those tokens, specifically like that, in such a one fell swoop to remove a bunch of liquidity from the pool all at the same time, cratering the price and rugging the project. There are other things that need to be present to make it a crime. And the things that Hayden did and other people like in that Libra situation did that made it criminal were the way that they advertised it, manipulating the market, admitting to holding money hostage from people, admitting to having
distributing the contract to their friends.
Yeah, insider trading, market manipulation, defrauding investors by lying specifically about things. If you say nothing and just launch a meme and then people mistime it and they get rugged, technically you just lost your money. No one committed a crime, which is another thing that is worth looking at. That there's not currently any sort of regulation on the books to disincentivize people from doing that. And that would be like, one option. I don't know. That's another that's a conversation would be great to have with a Congress that's not busy doing the exact same thing by themselves with the stock market. I don't trust them to do that properly.
No, stay tuned on that one. Jay Heat says, so let's rug pull the world. You could do that. Good luck. People are working on it. But
Evan, is it okay if we pivot to something before we then walk into the NFT thing? Because I think, probably a question, and, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a question, at least on a lot of people's minds, is like, okay, so everything's broken. How the hell are you supposed to navigate this market? Is it not even worth paying attention to real things in the space? Because I'm over here saying right now that real utility almost doesn't even matter right now because it's not getting the coverage it deserves, the attention. People don't see what it's doing, and these great projects are just in the gutter. Prices are super suppressed, and it's really hard to conceptualize supporting these things by investing in projects you like because they have so little chance right now of succeeding. So what are you supposed to do to navigate this market right now? Because it's so crazy. I saw a video from Lucas the other day where he was just saying like this bull market is the hardest one he's ever been in. I would agree. It's weird. This is kind of one of those things we've been talking about for a while. Like this one feels odd. And it's sort of a meme to say every year, like, this time it's different, guys. But, like, there's some pretty big shit that's pretty different this time compared to 2021, compared to 2017. So I'm curious, Evan, if you like, what do you think about when you're sitting there trying to square, the desire to still support good things and good projects, or, buy an NFT from something you like, some game that you like, or buy a token that you want to support the team of, or that you would like to invest in because you think it could be huge someday, but like right now in the market, how are you kind of navigating that as an investor?
Well, right now in the market, I'm paying attention.
You're not doing that.
I'm not doing a lot of that. And the reason I'm not doing a lot of that is because I did a lot of that a while ago. I think right now is the hardest time, first of all, to filter information because the quantity of information, the sheer volume of stuff happening in the crypto space right now is overwhelming. I read a stat the other day that the average person alive today on the internet consumes more information in a week than most people did in a lifetime 100 years ago. Can you believe that? I absolutely can believe it.
I can believe that. Yes, absolutely.
We're just not meant to handle that. Our biology has not caught up to that moment. We've adapted as best we can. And so I am trying to optimize for better decision making, to fight the feeling of FOMO. And I have for a long time mostly been in positions and been, selling out. My advice for people who came late, by which I mean during the election maybe, or leading up to the election sometime last year in 2024, bought a lot of stuff at or near all-time highs, and are worried if it's going to go back, I would say the most important thing to do is to understand yourself. You got to know your own personal risk tolerance. If this is the first time you've invested, that's especially true. But if it's the first time you've invested in cryptocurrency, then you need to spend some time learning how this asset class is different than other stuff you're used to. And that means the mechanics of it, how you buy it, sell it, turn it back into cash, how you store it securely. All those fundamental things, they're critically important, I think, to do before you buy. It's really rough to be learning on the go when your token is going down, 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 and you need to sell it now, and you get told there's no liquidity, or you don't have enough gas, or something else that you just fundamentally don't understand and don't know what to do with. So that's number one, is learn yourself and learn the mechanics of this space. And then I would say, if you need to, you can de-risk a little bit. It's okay sometimes to sell a thing at a bit of a loss. Better than to ride it all the way down and lose more money than you could afford to. The most important investment to make is in your knowledge. And part of that knowledge should be knowledge about the history of our space, the movers and shakers here, not just the mechanics, but the fundamental properties of blockchain companies. And I would say you should learn a little about startups and investing in startups too. You know, maybe listen to some podcasts like Unchained, which is a crypto industry specific podcast. They have a bunch of VCs on all the time, or even something like the Tim Ferriss Show or the All In podcast. It's something where people are talking about business, how business owners and entrepreneurs think, how venture capitalists and investors think. Those are all good things to do. And the last thing I would say is just don't despair. Take it one day at a time. A lot of people lose money because they go too fast. And the people who are trying to sell you something, especially because it's hot right now, they probably are trying to sell you something. Those people, they're not your teachers. What about you?
Yeah, so right now we're just in this weird time. So like, what am I doing in the market? I'm continuing to read and learn and just like build a big watch list of projects that interest me, that I don't know whether or not I would want to buy tokens to support or invest in or do whatever. So I'm just buying USDC and Bitcoin. Everything else is sort of skeezing me out a little bit right now just because it's so weird. So I think, hold on, let me grab, there was a question that I want to include in this.
Can I say really quickly while you're doing that, I forgot to say, I am more bullish about the whole crypto thing than ever before. This cycle is different because of like what's happening. But last cycle, like 4 years ago and 4 years before that, we didn't even know if Bitcoin was going to be like around. You know what I mean? Like we were doom and gloom. The space had not established itself. And this feels like more optimistic than ever to me personally. Like just by comparison, I'm thrilled. I feel great. You know, even though it's kind of a rocky moment, this is what we've all been dreaming of, you know, kind of thing.
The tumultuous like nature of markets can present really good opportunities. And I think that it's worth noting that, you know, we live in a very different world now than we did when our parents were growing up, when their parents were growing up. When you talk about like, what do you need to do to set yourself up in the future to be financially okay? I wouldn't even say wealthy. I would just say okay. You know, like, it's not practical advice for you at the age of 30 or 20 or 40 or 50 who doesn't have an investment portfolio, doesn't have a bunch of money in savings, is not currently working on being retired at some point. It's really not practical advice to invest $250 a month into the S&P 500 to have $1 million in 45 years. That's terrible advice. And you can't do that anymore. So what do? You have to change the game. And the shitty part is that in order to play that game now, you have to take way more risk than people took, 10, 20,
way
30,
more risk, or
40
maybe
years ago.
way more agency too, because your USDC play is probably not that risky, but it requires a lot of personal responsibility on your part.
But also, like, earning 8% APY on my USDC is not going to make me independently wealthy in 40 years. Because like what I'm doing is trying to close the gap that my money is inflating and debasing by every single year. And if that number is like 20%, and I'm trying to close a 20% gap in my dollar devaluation every year, 8% APY seems great when you compare it to the 0.1% that your bank offers you. But at the end of the day, like I'm still not even closing that gap by half. So I'm slowing it down a little bit, but it's not like that's not the thing. So what I mean by take more risk is that you have to open yourself up to more possibility that you're going to make a bad decision, invest in the wrong thing, and take like more risky plays in order to get those percentages that will put you ahead of the debasement inflation curve, which is unfortunate because back in the day you could just tuck a little bit of money into the S&P and it was going to grow at 8% every year, and that was great and that was all good, and you could save up and you could buy a house for a couple $100,000 and it was going to go up in value. But like houses are bad investments now. There's all sorts of incredible stats and literature coming out at this point about young people saving up and paying a huge down payment on a house, especially now with interest rates what they are, and the cost of home ownership and the quality of homes being built going down. So the cost of home ownership maintenance is going up. To fix more shit, more stuff breaks, things wear out a lot faster than they used to 30 years. Like all these different things layer, right? It all compounds. And so that's why crypto has entered the conversation for so many people, because the potential to invest in something like Bitcoin that has an average annualized return of 140% since inception, including the years when it goes down in price, is so appealing. But also you have to then stomach that volatility. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who invests through a fund that gets managed into the stock market. And he saw like a dip in the stock market, called his guy, and the guy was like, don't worry about it. It's only down like 1%. You know, I'll call you and we might need to do some restructuring if it hits 3%. And he's like, oh, 3%, but that would be a huge drop. And I'm like, my brother in Christ, my Solana is down 30% this week. All right, don't talk to me about, you know, but what did it do before that? And so like stomaching that volatility, that's why a big piece of homework that we always say is like, buy something volatile that you plan on losing just for the experience of holding an asset that goes up and down in value by so much on a regular basis. So what am I doing in the market right now? I'm buying Bitcoin, I'm buying USDC. I own Solana. My Solana position, I post about it in Discord all the time. I talk about it on the show all the time. I'm kind of swinging in and out of. So I always have some, and I always have Solana-based USDC. Right now, I have a little bit more USDC than I do Sol because, you know, sentiment's bad. You know, long term, am I worried about the network? No. But I know how people react. And, you know, right now, obviously, you can look at the chart. It's not doing great. The whole market's hurting right now. But, you
okay,
know,
hold
Solana's
on
not
real
immune
quick.
to that kind of a thing.
3 things. Number 1 is, Alex, you've said so many things today that have just got Magic Internet Money on the edge of his seat, like about how, I don't know, just weird double entendres that you have made unintentionally. This might have been your most
Unintentionally?
risque. Oh my God.
Don't come for me.
Listen, we got a comment a minute ago that said, this is so interesting, but it's so far, you guys are so far beyond my level. And I just want to speak to people who might feel a little lost. Listen.
Yes, it's good to
Number
ground.
1, we're sorry. Number 2, you are in the right place. And it's our deepest desire to bridge the gap from where you are to where we have, you know, made it. We're not geniuses. We're not highly technical people. We have learned all that we know here by proximity to people who know more than we do, and by practical application, by asking people questions, by trying stuff out, and then learning it slowly over time. If all you want to do is invest in cryptocurrency, we have lots of videos about simple, low risk ways to get started doing exactly what Alex is talking about, how to start being your own bank, how to start making your own decisions with assets that are not as risky as a meme token that's going to be absolutely gone tomorrow. But also how to learn those practical, tactical tools from step 1. So I'll give you 3 suggestions. First is obviously keep coming back to the Rise Up Morning Show. We're live Monday through Thursday. We want you to participate in these conversations because that's how you're going to meet more people who can help you go deeper. And that's how you're going to feel connected to our community, which is the Discord server. That's where all of our resources live. Discord.gg/riseup. It's totally free to join. And we have other resources at our site, theriseupmorningshow.com, that you can find through my profile or Alex's. In his profile and in my profile, there are playlists that will start from assuming nothing. We're going to treat you like a total absolute beginner, not like you're stupid, because you're not, but like you just don't know this stuff. And we're going to walk you there one step at a time. Alex, yours is a 60-second crypto in 60 seconds. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's probably the best place. And then with mine, the playlist is called Learn to Use Crypto. Super practical, super tactical. The number one comment that Alex and I get is, I've never understood this before, but now I do. Thank you so much. And I'm not saying that because, like I said, we're not like some awesome guys. We are pretty cool. But because the goal is to help you understand it and start using it safely, confidently, if you want to.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Yeah, it's important to I would say, the first skill to learn is to learn the jargon, because that will make a whole lot of stuff sound a lot more palatable. And like Evan said, you're certainly not dumb. There's just a lot of like new words that get used in all this stuff that I often forget to like pull what is all included in jargon. So if you watch any of those videos and you're still like, I still didn't get X, Y, and Z, just like leave me a comment with the words that you didn't get, and I can, you can do 60-second videos on all of those terms.
Yeah.
The question, Evan, that I'm seeing a lot here is the bull run over? And I think that's the wrong way to phrase it. Because there's so much nuance to that answer. So in short, nobody knows. There are a couple of reasons that you could say that it is, and there's a couple of reasons that you could say that it probably isn't. Right now is certainly a sketchy time. And I think if you look at it on a small scale,
what?
Sorry, it's just dogs barking.
We can't hear him. You look like a crazy person.
Dude, this mic is wild. They're just over there barking. Yeah, sorry for the pause. I thought everyone was listening to dogs bark.
Nope.
No, I don't want to put it in a crate.
Alex has dozens of dogs just running his home right now. Go ahead.
So many dogs. No, I think that right now it's over for right now. And how long will it be over for? It could be the rest of the week. It could be 2 more weeks. It could be a month. It could be 6 months. It could be the rest of the year. So like right now, sure, you can say like right now things are not pumping, but honestly, they could turn around tomorrow. We're just living on the edge of a knife, and it takes nothing to tip us one direction or another. And so be prepared for everything that you buy to go down in price, and be prepared for everything you sell to go up in price, because the markets are a little irrational right now, and that's the best way to think about it. Someone said yesterday, it might have been Cosmic. I want to give credit where credit is due. So Cosmic, if you're listening and this was you, or if you quoted someone else, let me know. Or I might be.
Yeah, if it wasn't you, be sure to take credit.
Be sure to take credit. It was just like we're literally sitting in a time when we are experiencing a bear market and a bull market at the same time. And to me, that's a sign of like the market maturing a little bit more, instead of just being in this position where everything has to be pumping all at the same time for us to be bullish, or everything has to be cratered beyond all hope and despair for the next 2 years before we consider the market bearish. And because Bitcoin is still so strong. What's Bitcoin sitting at right now? Like everything is terrible, and it's probably still above 90,000.
Yeah, to put it in Keith's words, we got ourselves an all-time high.
It's at $96,000. Like, that's wild.
I had a video from the fall before the election when it was like 85,000 or something, and I was like, guys, this is the best it's ever. I mean, everybody's so excited. Could it go to 100,000? I don't know. We all feel great, Wild.
Yeah, it's super weird. So that is definitely playing into the weirdness of all of this. So I would say be careful. Be careful buying anything right now that you don't have long-term conviction in. And there's really not a ton on that platter, in my opinion. So, Bitcoin, I have long-term conviction in. I don't really care so much what the price is. I'm going to be, buying my little bits because I just want to own more of it. Ethereum is in a bit of a weird spot with sentiment right now. It feels very suppressed, even though fundamentally not really a whole lot has changed. Solana is going through a rough patch right now with public sentiment that needs to get fixed and ironed out. But to me, like, I look at it big picture, I see bad things in the ecosystem getting excised and hopefully removed so that it can all kind of heal and move on. FTX couldn't take it down. Yeah, and that's kind of the point, right? Like, get the bad shit out of there because nobody wants to deal with that, and then let the market or let the ecosystem continue to do ecosystem things. So right now, someone asked, why would you buy a stablecoin? Why would you invest in that? 2 reasons. 1, because I can earn better interest on stablecoins than I can on dollars in my bank account. And 2, because I want to increase my velocity to buy something if I see a great opportunity. So if Solana craters to like 120, I'll probably buy some. And I want to have stablecoins on the Solana blockchain in my wallet, ready to go the second I see that.
Good definition here from our friend Roby1. A bear market is defined as more than 20% down over a sustained period for 3 months minimum. Kind of like a recession is like back to back. These economic indicators can be helpful. I think it's really interesting to see how people apply bear or bull colloquially in crypto, because you'll hear people say, like, day to day, is this the bear market? Is this the bull market? It's almost like is it in the room with us kind of thing? Is the utility here?
Yeah. So, do you not see any opportunities with so many of these dips? Yeah, I see potential opportunities. The thing to remember, though, is that things can always fall more. So you don't want to just like see something have taken a dip and then ape into it. That would be irresponsible investing. So read the room, read the broader room. And if things are kind of trending down and you have X dollars that you would really like to have invested in the market, you want exposure to this thing, instead of putting 100% of your investable money into things, ladder it in. You buy a little bit, expecting the price to continue to go down, at which point you could add a little bit more. If the price turns around from where you just bought it at and goes up, guess what? You've got some profit that you can take. So it's kind of this idea of wanting to be prepared for either direction. You have stable coins to prepare for when the market is flat and can't make up its mind, and then you can act on up and down. When the market is going down, you'd like to be able to deploy capital into things you believe in that you can now get at a reduced cost. And if the market is going up, you want to be able to have exposure to those things you believe in so that you can make some money and sell some stuff and take some profits and put it back into your stable coins and wait for things to turn around. Because I can't help but think that we are just going to chop in a range for the foreseeable future, because there's no real reason for market sentiment amongst retail to increase. And institutional money is here in a big way, and they are way more patient than retail. So they're totally fine sitting on their hands for the next year while prices are, hurting, bleeding, struggling, and everyone else has given up, and they're going to continue to come down, and these huge money wallets are just going to get more at a lower cost basis. They're way more patient than you. So that's the game you're playing against.
I don't think you said this explicitly, but and now the thoughts. You didn't say this explicitly, but the other reason you want to have it in stablecoins is because there's less friction. It takes more time to get money from my bank account or my pocket or my mattress on chain to buy Bitcoin than it does if it's just sitting in a stablecoin account. You could be earning, like a bank account, a few percent yield, maybe 6, 8, 10% on your stablecoins that you can just withdraw, swap for whatever you want to buy. And that's a good skill to have, is to know a couple of places you can park it to practice self-custody or practice securing your tokens, and then finding different ways to move the money around. It's an important skill to have in crypto. Alex, since it's about that time to take our dogs and ponies on the road, I would like to ask you one rapid fire question, one long form question, and then invite everybody down below to leave your final thoughts, questions, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom, and join us tomorrow. We're live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time every day to answer your crypto questions like this. Tomorrow is Web3 101 Wednesday, and that means, my friends, I need to get like some good Web3 101 sound effects or something. We're going to be answering questions especially for beginners. If you're new to crypto, if you just have an hey, how do I send from Kraken to Trezor? What's a good exchange I can use to swap for this? Anything. No question is dumb. No question is too simple or too complex. We want to see you there if you're trying to learn about crypto. 7 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, we've got an interview with our friend Genia from Pith Network. We met him in Prague at the Stellar. We didn't meet him at the Stellar. Was he at the Stellar conference or was he at the Emergence? But he was at
the dinner.
He's previously a VP from, I believe it's BitMEX. I'll have to check the bio before I get on. Long time DeFi business development crypto native who knows a lot of people, seen a lot of stuff, and has a very frank way of speaking about it that Alex and I immediately said, oh, this is perfect for After Dark. We got to get you on the show. So I'm really excited for that too. You can see past episodes of the Rise Up Morning Show or Rise Up After Dark on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever you watch the show except TikTok. And also now we are making a concerted effort to start putting our episodes on podcasting platforms near you. So when they air, that's where they'll go. So that if you just want to listen to the show, you don't want to have a heavy video download, you can do that too. So that wherever you are, whenever you listen, you can rise up. Alex, the rapid fire question is, first, what's in your portfolio? I currently hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Ondo, Arrow, Morpho, and Jupiter. A lot of positions for me. And I have stable coins too. I have smaller positions in other stuff that I don't actively think about every day. What do you got?
Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, Solana, Avalanche.
Honestly, I wish I had fewer positions. If I had more capital to deploy in a bear market, I would be exited from almost all of it. Honestly, truly. But hey, you play the market you're in.
It's easy to manage. I don't think about it. I can wake up and see the market's down a lot. And because I always have stable coins, I'm like, do I want to put more in? Do I want to deploy some more? Or do I just want to wait? And if the markets are way up, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's skim off the top of everything except the Bitcoin, and increase the stablecoin bag. The higher the market gets, the more stablecoins I want to have, and the lower the market gets, the more exposure I want to have.
Yeah. Okay. Can your bags be spread too thin? Absolutely. Most people's bags are spread too thin.
Guys, I love you. You got to stop. I can't talk about XRP anymore. I can't do it. Please. I'm asking you politely as a favor, if you love me, to leave me alone.
We both have, I've got a bunch of videos about XRP. And we'll talk about it again on the show. But we got to wrap it up. And I want to be faithful to Joe, who's been here for a minute, who asked us, this is a good finishing question, but it'd also be a good intro question. Maybe we can carry over into tomorrow, which is about NFTs. Are they like index funds or baskets? She was wanting to know, like mutual funds. No, an NFT, which stands for non-fungible token, is a type. It's a unit, like a container of information that lives on the blockchain and can be programmed to represent many, many different things. But I'm going to kick it to Alex because I know he'll flesh it out.
Yeah, I'll talk about XRP some other time. I just can't do it anymore. Okay, I see you guys. I love you and I appreciate you, and I just don't want to talk about it right now. It's exhausting.
And cue the comments.
XRP. Yeah. What's an NFT? NFTs are probably my favorite single piece of technology in the entire industry. I think it's one of the coolest things we've ever done. And they were used for a lot of dumb stuff, but the underlying piece of tech is really, really cool. And I still like it. I bought one yesterday. So what is it simply? With as little jargon as humanly possible, an NFT is a way that you can prove, it's a piece of technology that lets you prove that something digital can be unique, which is very cool. That has never, ever existed before the NFT. One of the things, just for an example, to give you a money example, one of the things that has led to the dollar losing so much value, and this is not unique to the dollar, this is all fiat government-run currencies, is the fact that they are mostly digital. For the last 50 years, we've been increasingly digitizing the money supply, which makes it a lot easier to introduce more of it into supply. And because you can't prove that these things are special, it's a lot harder to track how much money is in circulation. So much of it is theoretical, held in debt, in all sorts of things. NFTs, non-fungible tokens, allow you to prove that something digital is unique. Now, how is it used at scale largely to introduce the world to this thing? JPEGs. Cool for one reason. One, you can prove that a picture on the internet, as one example of something digital, can be the only one. And you can prove that one of them is different than another, which you've never been able to do before. So, let's take this screen right now that you're looking at. could screenshot this and I will end up with a JPG file that I could attach an NFT to and prove that it's the first one that this JPEG has been attached to that was special. Anyone watching this could also screenshot the screen at the same time, take that picture, and attach their own NFT to it. But on the chain, they'll all be timestamped as one of their pieces of information that they contain, and everyone would be able to tell forever which one existed first. That's pretty cool. So they were used to gamble, they were used to speculate, they were used to, mark funny cartoon pictures for this reason or that reason. But they have a lot of other applications. And so if I try to think about like the best way to think about it, they're kind of like certificates of authenticity for digital property. The NFT
or
itself,
increasingly physical property as
Or
people
physical
find ways to
property.
link them. Really quick, I just want to add the clarifier that the NFT itself lives on a blockchain. It's a record on a blockchain,
Mhm.
but the digital file might live somewhere else, or the physical thing might live at a vault in your bank if it's the deed to your house. The token is a record on chain. The thing could be your car or your house or your dog or that time you went to a concert or whatever. They might live
Mhm.
both places.
Yeah, no, that's a good clarifier. I can feel it. Like this is a good thing we can dig more into like Web3 101 tomorrow to do like specific definitions. The thing that I would take away from this right now, so I don't get too far in the weeds, is just NFTs let you prove that digital property can be special and unique. It was largely used for like digital trading cards, essentially, which is kind of the way that you can consider these NFTs. Some of them are cool, some of them are not. The thing to remember that I think if I was to put one sentence that will help you understand why some NFTs are bullshit and some are not, and it's not the NFT's fault. NFTs just protect something digital. The digital thing can be worthless. Attaching an NFT to something that no one cares about doesn't make the thing that no one cares about suddenly valuable. NFTs protect things that people do care about to protect that value. So it's absolutely true that someone could launch a random profile picture collection of some AI generated cartoon that they just, made 10,000 copies of and slap an NFT on it, and it's worthless and no one cares about it, and the price isn't worth anything, and you can't sell them, and no one wants them, and there's no market for it. That is true. It's also true that a famous artist could draw a series of pictures digitally, like our friend Alex Ruiz, who's a phenomenal artist who works very heavily with digital mediums and digital painting online. He even uses AI to design paintbrushes and stuff. It's very cool. Designed a lot of stuff that you've seen in Marvel movies, by the way. He could do a collection and he could attach an NFT to all these things. And all of a sudden, people that want to collect Alex Ruiz art have a safer way to do that in digital form. That's why NFTs matter. Because when they are used to protect things that you care about, they make them safer and more secure. But it's important to remember that they can absolutely be used to prove that worthless dog shit is also unique. And that's fine. It's still worthless and no one cares about it still. All the NFT is doing is proving that, like, yep, that's the one that no one cares about. So I hope that helps demystify it a little bit. I know that it's a complex topic, so ask questions if you're confused. The broader implications of this technology at scale could be doing things like fighting counterfeiting, especially in digital medium, protecting digital artists from piracy, like music and movies, or cartoons and drawing and online digital pictures that people create and draw with whatever.
A better way to do
program.
receipts.
Better ways to do receipts, better ways to protect luxury goods or specific brand items from being copied and faked, fake Prada or whatever.
And to extend the ability of what you can do with that, like because of the better form of the receipt or the proof, not only do you have a record, but you have a way to communicate to people that I don't even need to know Alex's name. If he has a token I issued, I'm Prada, he bought a bag for Christina or Jordan, because I don't know, that's what the kids are into these days. And I have a token that's in his wallet. I can create another token and ping it to him because he was a previous customer that says 5% off. Or if I'm Louis Vuitton, I can make a token for every Prada bag holder and be like, hey, you guys tired of second rate bags yet? Here's 5% off Louis Vuitton. You know what I mean? I don't even need to know anything about him. It's a way more precise way to build relationships, to signal influence or status, or communicate, whether you're sharing information that's related to money or status or story or identity. If my driver's license is on the blockchain, I'll never ever lose it again. It'll be so much better for the way we do so many things.
Yeah, there's a lot of applications for them that I think are super, super cool.
It's my favorite thing that we talk about, honestly, truly, because when you and I when we get going on it, when we open that can up, it's hard to put the genie back in the bottle.
And NFTs are really cool. There's a lot of it for private, like Evan said, for privacy, for internet anonymity, for being able to be targeted with advertisements for things you might want without having to lose all of your personal data, being able to opt out of targeted advertising using NFTs, like wallet tracking. It's very cool. It's a very, very deep and dense topic. And we introduced it to the world with cartoon monkeys, but there's a lot more to it. And I would encourage you to not care about the cartoon monkey, but care about the reason that people got excited about the cartoon monkeys.
Vuitton. Someone said, "Can you say Vuitton again, please?" I had to put on my pretentious French accent. Louis Vuitton.
You're such a wuss.
All right, people. That's it.
So 2 rapid fire questions. I'll use this as my final thought. Could NFTs be used to distinguish between the real Alex account and the other Slim Shadys on TikTok? Great question. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, they could. TikTok could totally implement a system wherein they mint an NFT for the original account that was created, because in their database, they have the timestamps to prove which account came first, and they could, offer all sorts of other verification. They could mark it with a token, and their interface could be programmed to just simply flag my profile picture with some sort of special visual that would indicate to you that this is the tokenized real version of my account, and anything that doesn't have this symbol on it is not tokenized and not real. They could absolutely, I just made that up, but they could totally do something like that. Yeah. Absolutely. The other question was, what's the difference between an NFT and VeChain? And we'll just use VeChain as an example of one cryptocurrency, but you could take out the word VeChain and insert anything else. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, Polkadot, any other cryptocurrency. The difference is that if we wanted to stick with the same acronym, let's say Doodles. They're fresh on everyone's mind. They're doing some stuff. They have an airdrop coming up, whatever. Doodles is a famous NFT project. Those are NFTs. VeChain are FTs. You're just taking the N away. So,
but VeChain, the blockchain company, does use non-fungible tokens
NFTs
in their solution.
Yes, but VET, specifically the cryptocurrency, is an FT, a fungible token, meaning that the 10 VET that Evan has in his wallet and the 10 VET that I have in my wallet, they are worth the same amount. We
totally swappable.
We could flip and flop those. If Will then was like, I want 10 VET, Evan could send him 5, I could send him 5, and he would now have 10, and it would be the same. It doesn't matter that 5 came from me and 5 came from Evan. Yeah. With an NFT, Evan could have doodle number 6 and I could have doodle number 1000, and because of differences in the picture, which one came first, which one has the cooler number, any number of reasons that people could decide they like 6 more than number 1000, Evan's doodle number 6 is not the same as doodle number 1000. They are fundamentally different. The data in that token is different. They say different things. They have different attributes.
Records of ownership.
They have different records of ownership. Maybe number 6 used to be owned by
Michael Jordan,
by Sylvester Stallone or some random celebrity. He held it for an hour, and you could prove it because it would be forever in that token's timeline.
Fun fact, I have to interrupt you to say, I've always wanted to do for years the 1 million person NFT to demonstrate to people what an NFT is, where essentially you put your wallet address down. Coinbase should do this, to get people onboarded to the smart wallet. You create a list, create a wallet, and everybody, a smart contract, moves this NFT around to every person on the list. And that you're going to get this NFT at February 18th at 12:46 p.m. for 30 seconds. And then it's going to go to someone else and someone else and someone else and someone else. And it will be the most owned non-fungible token in history. And it will be, what a great project that would be to like onboard people. Mike, can you help me do that? Can you whip that up for me? Because that would be killer. I've caught you right when you're answering a comment. Alex always does this. Whenever I rug him, he's like, okay, I can answer a comment real quick.
You know what though? It's
I challenge myself to give short answers just because I'm like, Alex, I'm rugging you because I want to give you something and then I want you to take it over again.
It's okay, and I will never be mad at you for it because this is the Evan version of me turning off the screen share when Evan is pointing his phone camera at the computer screen without warning him. We all have our small victories.
Yeah, the microaggressions we commit against the people we love.
Yes.
I said to Alex the other day, I said something cutting and sarcastic, and I said, I have to be sarcastic with you because I can't do it in public. I'm so sorry.
I do have to run.
He's got to run, yeah.
As a final thought, a final thought, because I already gave two. Someone asked if they can hire us for private mentoring. You absolutely can. It's not the cheapest thing in the world. And so that is why I absolutely recommend joining the Discord and asking questions there first. And if you just find that really doesn't do it, and you do want the personal one-on-one attention in a video call, you can absolutely pay for that. But you don't have to. Yeah,
so we've got good reviews. I don't think we have a single bad review.
No, we do. Yeah, if you've done it and you had a good experience, then, share that you had a good experience. But you definitely don't have to pay for that if you cannot afford it. If it's out of your price range, that is totally fine. We will help you for free. You just might have to, wait a little bit and ask the questions in Discord and, whatever. Anyway, I hope on the Discord note to see all of you in Discord. It is totally free to join. The link is above my head here. The link is down over there depending on which platform you are watching. It's discord.gg/riseup in this little gray box above my head on TikTok, and in the big blue text on the bottom of the screen on every other platform. Would love to see you over there.
For free.
Please be careful when you join. If you are new, you will receive direct messages from impersonators that look like us. They have the same profile picture. They have a username that is somewhat similar, and they're going to reach out and they're going to be like, thanks so much for joining our server. Send me money.
Just checking on our members. Yeah.
In some form. Anytime anybody DMs you on TikTok, on Twitter, on any other platform, on Discord, that looks like Evan, me, Will, or any other content creator, it is a scam. They cannot hurt you. They cannot hurt you if you just block them. If you ignore them, it's just like receiving spam email. The only time that it causes any trouble is when you reply to them and you give them information because you think that it's one of us. They will friend request you. We will never friend request you. We'll never follow back. We will never DM you. We will only speak to you in public places, in comment sections. And you on TikTok, you have to look for the little blue creator text next to the name. We will never invite you to a Telegram, to a WhatsApp, to an email, to some weird shit. We will talk about the Discord publicly. This is the only place we collect the community. This is the only place it exists. Do not reply to DMs. Do not reply to people trying to invite you to WhatsApp group, Telegram groups, phone numbers, email lists, like any of this kind of stuff. Just pretend that they don't exist and block them. Unfortunately, TikTok doesn't care about helping us police that problem, so we have to do it ourselves. I spend about 2 hours every single day cleaning my comment sections up and deleting spam comments when I can find them and blocking people who are leaving spam comments after deleting them. I barely make a dent. I am truly sorry for how awful they are. But unfortunately, every single creator who talks in any way, shape, or form about finance has to deal with this. So just know, we will never DM you. We will never friend request you. We will never try to lure you to some weird website and sign up for something, connect your wallet to this and deposit money here. Whatever. No. Just like, it'll never happen.
And it's always a scam.
I will see you guys in Discord.
Okay,
Evan,
bye, Alex.
Sorry to wreck you the last second here.
Nope.
But,
you're good. I'm taking us out. The final thought I have for everybody is from Rebecca Began. She says her 80 years young mother's advice is, Beck, have fun with your imaginary money thing, but don't lose your shirt. With apologies to Rebecca's mother for the probably off impression. I'm sure she has a lovely melodic voice. I just wanted people to have a little fun on the way out the door. And that's it, my friends. That's it. We've got to go. Until next time, thank you for being the best part of our show. You can catch us in the Discord. You can catch us at theriseupmorningshow.com and right back here tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time to answer your crypto questions. Everybody be safe. Stay well.